Hello and welcome. It's Nomadic Shaman here. Thank you so much for visiting my page. Feel free to comment, like, share, and follow. This video is going to focus on life purpose. More specifically, how do I find my life's purpose? How do I find my life's mission, my soul's mission, my soul's purpose? All you need is two things: intuition and joy. You're going to use your intuition, which is your inner compass, to find your joy. So how do you do that? I'm going to share with you 3 common approaches. Now, the first 2 groups, they seem to have gotten it. Okay. The third group is on the struggle bus. But hey, that's okay. I was on the struggle bus. Okay. Nothing wrong with the struggle bus. So the first approach is similar to arranged marriages. That looks like my grandfather was a lawyer. My father was a lawyer. Now I'm going to be a lawyer. So you're following legacy and tradition. The second approach is love at first sight. The example I like to use, okay, let's say is a small child who says, I'm going to be an animal doctor. They love animals, brings animals home, feeds them, nurses them, nurtures them, keeps them until their mom says, nope, you got to go back, and then returns them back to their natural habitat. So as an adult, they're a marine biologist, they're zoologist, they are a veterinarian. Okay, now the third approach is dating around until you find the one. So what does that look like? That means trying out different interests, hobbies, passions, industries to see which industry and what really and truly resonates with you, what clicks. Okay, now the key to finding the one is first to identify what your values are. A great book and resource is by Nancy Anderson called Discover Your Passion: How to Do What You Love to Do for a Living. Now, what I find is that the third group, the group that likes to date around, is often more times than not, their purpose is centered around problem solving, serving and assisting, a challenge or obstacle that they faced at one point or another. So that looks like tribulations, that looks like trials, that looks like, challenges. I'll just right out say challenges. And so now they have become the pathfinder. They have become the beacon to show others how they overcame and to show others how they too can overcome. Okay, whatever problem or issue or challenge that is. Now, what I've done in the past to help me is I literally wrote out an Excel spreadsheet and I divided it up in 4 columns. The first column, I wrote down all of my passions and my interests. The second column, I wrote down what came naturally to me, what I was good at. Okay, the third column, I wrote down my hard skills, so my technical proficiencies. Okay, so an example of that would be me being proficient in Microsoft, the Microsoft suite. The fourth column was my soft skills, so me being an excellent team player would be an example. An excellent problem solver would be an example. And I did that because I need a visual reference so I can see things on paper, because seeing things on paper makes sense to me. Okay. And so before I leave, I just want to give you 3 takeaways. 1, please be patient. The third group, we're on a long scenic route. We might as well enjoy it at every stage. Okay. The second would be honest with yourself at every stage, at every process. Okay. And then the third is to identify, through your intuition, that inner compass, what feels right versus what doesn't. Okay, so that wraps my time up here. Until then, I'm out, guys. I'll see you on the next one.